Hey guys, this is Ruben Stamper here from Cameron Crew Outdoors. So, as we go from fall into winter, and it starts getting a lot more colder, there's a couple things you need to take into account when you're looking for the deer for those late season successes. Okay, so you're going to notice in the late season, you're not going to be seeing as many deer out in the open, okay? Here in Kentucky, gun season just ended. A couple areas, other areas in the USA, gun season is ending. The deer are skittish, guys. They are not wanting to stay out in the open. They are trying to get as far away from humans as they possibly can. So if you're wanting to have success in the late season, a couple things you're going to need to do. Don't keep on hunting those field edges. You're not going to see as many deer, okay? Granted, they do have to have their food in the winter. They have to have their carbs and their protein and stuff. But if you actually want to get within bow range of a deer in the late season, I'm going to suggest that you hunt the very thick areas that you normally wouldn't hunt, okay? The deer are hiding out, they're in the cover, they're not in the open anymore, okay? You gotta take that into account when you're hunting the late season. They don't want to be seen by humans, so they're going to try and get as far away from them as they can, If you have food plots, hidey hole food plots in the middle of the woods, places you don't normally hunt, okay? If you have a small food plot, maybe it's only 40 by 40 yards long, okay? Hunt that area, because those deer are going to be there. I'm not saying they're going to be there like they would be, in the woods and different travel corridors, but if you want to hunt late evening, early morning, that's the place to be, okay? They're not going to come out in the middle of the day anymore, okay? They've gotten smarter, I promise you that. But the thing with the deer is, before they go to bed, they're going to get a bite to eat in that hidey hole food plot, okay? When they get up, they're going to start their day by going to that hidey hole food plot. It's their breakfast and it's their dinner, okay? That's how you got to see it. And so as long as you're there for their breakfast or dinner, you have a good chance of getting one. So while a lot of your deer sign doesn't mean as much now because of the rut and everything, your scrapes are still extremely important, okay? Especially in the late season. People think that once the rut ends, the bucks automatically just stop scraping, okay? They're wrong. The scrape isn't only just to attract female deer, It's just a way to connect with other deer. It's like, imagine it being the Facebook of the deer world, okay? They come here and they figure out who all's in the area. Also, those bucks the dominant bucks are trying to still show that they're dominant. They don't want to be undermined by these smaller bucks, okay? They want to have a firm stance and say, hey, look, I'm the dominant buck here. I don't want you guys in my area. Another thing a lot of guys look over that they really shouldn't. Water sources, all right? Deer have to drink just like we do. And they can't get all their water from the dew or the snow or stuff, all right? They have to go to a water source. You find a little pond, even a creek, don't overlook that as an area. Now, it doesn't necessarily mean they're going to be coming to it. There could be other water sources that they're going to. But find the dominant water source. Find out the one that they actually are going to a lot. If you have a trail cam, set it up there. Figure out if they're actually going there or if they're coming there at nighttime, okay? If they're going there in the day or night. Because there really could be a good place. So something funny I find, people overlook sheds as something that can help them figure out where the deer are going. Sheds are actually a really good tool. Here's why. If you find, I found these sheds, typical 8-frame, last March, okay? In an area about a quarter mile away from here, a big honeysuckle patch, okay? It's about 200 yards long. I know that there was a buck in the area around that time of year, all right? And he had an established pattern at that time of year. He probably went through there a couple times after he lost his antlers. I can infer that deer are probably going to be using that trail a lot, okay, that area a lot. That's where I'm going to be hunting this year, okay? I'm going to be hunting that area starting in late December, going into early January, because I know deer are going to be traveling through there. I have a good chance of getting a doe, I have a good chance of getting a buck, all right? Because I know from prior experience, from prior proof, that deer go through there. That's how you can use sheds to help you figure out where the deer are going to be going the next year. Doesn't necessarily mean that you're going to see the same exact buck, okay? The rut can screw up patterns. You can make this buck go a mile away, and you never see him again the rest of your life. But what it does mean is that bucks and deer in general use that area. That's why I'm recommending that if you found a bunch of sheds in an area, hunt that area in the late season. There's a good chance you're going to see a lot of deer. So what about patterns in the late season? Well, something you need to know about patterns, in the late season at least. They're kind of unpredictable. Here's why. So, here in Kentucky, mid-November is when the rut hits. mid-November to late November, okay? That's the first rut. That's the main rut. That's when you're going to see a ton of your chasing happening. After that, things kind of slope down, all right? You have that doe here or there that comes into heat a little bit after that. But here's what happens. So you get your patterns, and they're starting to level, okay? You're starting to see a little bit of predictability in the patterns. And then what you're going to see is no more patterns left. And here's why. Your secondary rut is hit at that point. Here in Kentucky, the beginning of January is when our secondary rut hits. And if you're wondering what the secondary rut is, it's the year-old fawns who are just now coming into heat, and the bucks are starting to chase them. So you basically get a second rut. It's not going to be as extreme as the first one, but you can still definitely tag a buck off of it if you know how to hunt it right. But what I'm trying to say is, if you're trying to use your trail cameras to start patterning bucks in beginning of January, or when that secondary rut hits where you live, it's going to be kind of hard to pattern where they're actually going to be going. Sure, you can find those trails, and that's what I'm going to be hunting when the secondary rut hits. Is I'm going to find the trails that I know the deer are using a lot, because the chances are those one-year-old fawns have a pattern, and they're going to be following it. But the buck's going to kind of screw up their pattern a little bit, but they could be using that trail again. That's why I'm going to be hunting over the major trails when the secondary rut hits. Hey guys, so we really want to thank you for watching this video. Really appreciate it. Please keep on watching, subscribing, and liking. We really appreciate it. You know, one of our main goals is to give you guys some information along with all the hunts and the fun and stuff, because the only way we get those hunts is by actually participating and doing things that help out our herds, okay, our deer herds and our turkey flocks and things like that. But aside from that, hopefully we'll be getting more deer hunting videos in for you guys. We've been trying really hard. You know, we've got Nate Fisher up in Ohio. He's been hunting hard. Rhett Tanner's going down to Texas next week. He's got a doe tag and a buck tag and you know, unlimited hog tags. So hopefully he can get a video for us. Rhett can get it, or Nate can get a video for us, and hopefully I can get another video for us. I'm still going after a buck. I haven't filled my buck tag yet, and I'm allowed to shoot another doe, so I'll probably do that if I get the chance. But I've been going a lot this year. I think this would be my 57th hunt coming up with a bow. And I went one time with a gun. You saw that video. That turned out pretty good. So hopefully we can get some more videos for you guys. Just really want to say thank you. We really do appreciate all the views and the subscribers. Definitely helping us out a lot. And hopefully you can see us progressing in both the quality of our videos and the quantity of our videos. And you know, who knows, maybe one day we'll be up there, it'll be a TV show. You never know. But we do want to thank you right now for definitely supporting us and showing us how we can actually get somewhere if we want to. So thank you for that. Tuning out from Cameron Crew Outdoors, Ruben Stamper. Have a good day.